So how many skills does it take? Because I just gave you 7. There's 19 and 20 skills for the most sophisticated hotels, for really tough markets, for markets where you're trying to get $300 and $400 a night. It'll take you more than 7 skills to convert 70 to 80%. So the right number is really dependent upon A, your pricing structure, B, the sophistication of your client, and probably the most important here is number C, and that is, what is your competition doing? So you need to shop your competition to hear how they sound. And if they sound and do everything you do, then you have to add skills to impress the consumer, because they're going to shop around in most cases. Now, a Ritz-Carlton consumer may not shop around, but a Holiday Inn one certainly will, and a Crowne Plaza one certainly will, and a Sheraton and everything else below that 5-star, 4-star level are certainly going to shop around. And even if you are a 5-star, you should be delivering 5-star service anyway, and that's what these skills do. So the right number of skills is dependent upon what your competition's saying and doing, and you have to shop them. And it's all dependent upon your pricing structure. If you're trying to get $300, $400 a night, you're probably going to have to use more skills to close more deals. And thirdly, the sophistication of your clients. I mean, how much are they going to demand? That's the right number. And it moves. It moves up, typically. So now we get into the stories part of the presentation today. And we're going to move into the next slide as well, which talks about, I think it's vampire feeding, yeah. So in my book, I've got 50 stories in there on things that I did to steal business from my competition. And we're going to call night auditors vampires for just a second. So here you are, a night auditor. For those that are on the line that don't work in the hotel business, they are employees that work from 11 p.m. typically to 7 a.m. And their function is really not to engage with the public. Their function is an accounting function. They're doing night audit. They're closing out the books for the day. They're compiling the numbers. They're doing reports. And oh yeah, there's a few people checking in. And oh yeah, the night manager in case something goes wrong, which it usually does at 2 o'clock in the morning. What we would do is we would pay attention to our competition's night auditors. We would stop at their front desk at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would. My sales office would. And we would make sales calls on them. We would say, number one, we would love to have the business that walks in off the street and says, do you guys have a room and you're full? We want to be your number one recommended hotel. What do we have to do? And usually just by asking, we got it. Number two, people are calling up and they're saying, do you guys have rooms for tomorrow night, or do you guys have rooms tonight, and you're full? Again, we want you to refer us. We didn't want to take any chances. So what we would do is I would set up a breakfast once a month, and we would set it up at, you guessed it, 20 minutes after 7. So if they got off work at 7, before they got home, on their way home, they stopped into my hotel, and they had breakfast with other night auditors from all the competition and my night auditors. And eventually, my night auditors got so good at doing this, they didn't need me anymore. And they would do this monthly lunch or monthly breakfast and feed these people, and we would have them tour our hotel. They'd get more excited about the things that they see, that they could describe it better to people calling into their property or walking into their property. And it also became bench strength if we ever needed a night auditor in the future. It was real easy for us to find out who the good ones were. So I would ask these night auditors, when's the last time you saw your general manager? And they would say something like, well, I saw the back of her head once in 1977. Not enough people pay attention to these night auditors. And I will tell you this as well. There were some cases, I'll guarantee you, you're going to find this funny, but there were cases where even if they were not full at their own hotel, they would refer business to us. That's right, they would. Why? Because we cared more for them than their own people did. So take care of your night auditors. Take care of the competition's night auditors. All right, this one is all about, I show up at a hotel, and it has an existing sales office. And I would sit down with the salespeople, and I would say, listen, show me your long list of clients that we've made mad that said they would never come back to us again. And usually they have volume. So I would start looking at these accounts. I know they have business. They used to have business. They're using someone else. We did something to make them mad. And one particular story comes to mind. This is a major manufacturer in St. Louis, Missouri. I won't say who it is. And Mark, my sales manager, was a superstar. And I'm sitting down with Mark, and he's going through his list of 50 companies. And on this particular company, we did everything possible to mess up this account. So I said, that's okay. This is a dawn of a new day. New commitment, new focus, new guarantee, new delivery. We're going to do it. So I would call up these clients hoping to get a face-to-face. And in this one particular case, this one company wouldn't even return my calls, call after call after call. So now I can't even get their attention at all. So what I would do is I would send over a pie with a note. Still no callback. I would send over a cake. no callback. Balloons, no callback. Flowers, no callback. And about sixth or seventh into this, things that I would send there, I would hire Eastern Onion, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of a singing telegram. And I would hire these guys, and they would even dress up in costumes sometimes, like a gorilla outfit or whatever the case might be. And we would construct a poem, and we would make it funny, that we would keep sending stuff over to their offices until they at least called me back. I know they've got a lot of business. I know they're worth the effort. So I'd send Eastern Onion out there, and that usually would do the trick. And if it didn't, I would keep sending stuff for a reasonable period. Well, this one particular client, I'll never forget it, in St. Louis. I think we probably sent over 6, 7, 8 things. It was starting to get expensive, and I still wasn't getting a call back. Finally, one day, the guy calls up and says, look, Farrell, when are you going to get through your head? I don't want to talk to you, man. I said, well, at least you're talking now. I said, man, here's the deal. I swear to you, I promise you, if you just sit down for 10 minutes face-to-face with us, and if we have nothing good to say, I will never, ever bother you again as long as I live. And that would usually get a chuckle out of these people. Okay, 10 minutes, that's it, huh? That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And in this particular case, this person said to me, you know what? I'll be there in 2 hours on my way home. Let's have a drink in your bar so at least I get something out of this, because there's no way on God's green earth I'm going to use your hotel again. I understand. I'll see you here in 2 hours. Terrific. So Mark and I get ready for this client. And the only strategy I have is to fall on my sword, mea culpa. So he walks in, he orders a drink, we order a drink, we sit down, he says, okay, what do you have to say? Look, I know we have no right to earn your business, but we're going to go for it anyway. And here's why we think we can earn it. And I tell him about all the new things we've done. Now, having said that, I know we've burned you bad in the past, and I am so sorry for that. We've cleaned up our act. If we didn't clean up our act, I wouldn't be wasting your time or my time. So can I please have your business? And he says to me, no. He said, okay, are we done? And Mark at this point says, just wait 1 minute. Let me ask you one more question, and then I'm done. And the guy says, what is it? He says, how much does it cost you to have your annual meeting? And the guy says, you know the one I have in January a year? Yeah, the one that we used to have. Well, let's see, rooms, flights, I don't know, $100,000? And that includes the entertainment? Oh, no, entertainment too, $30,000, about $150,000 for that meeting. And Mark looked at this guy and he said, you know what? What if we paid every bit of your next meeting? And the guy said, wait a minute, you're going to pay for everything? Flights, entertainment, meals, everything? And I take my glasses off and I kind of tip them on the end of my nose and I'm looking at Mark like, where are you going with this thing? There's no way we can pay this guy's meeting, right? And Mark says to the guy, well, yeah, what if we paid all $150,000 of that next meeting? What if we paid for it all? That didn't cost you a dime to have it. And the guy was astounded. He said, wow, man, I'd be a fool not to. Yeah, I would do that. Mark looked at him and he said, you know, we're not going to do that. However, it's good to see that at least you're considering using our hotel again. And the guy laughs, and I laugh, and Mark laughs, and he says, look, what do you guys want from me? And all we wanted was a small meeting to prove to the guy that we could earn his business back again. And slowly but surely, we earned his trust, and slowly but surely, we got him back. So sales can be a lot of fun, and you can give up from the get-go because it was a tough entrance or was a tough negotiation. But don't. This is the stuff that makes it fun. This is the stuff you want to talk about with your grandkids in the front of your porch. All right? All right, people, thanks for listening. I hope you learned a few things or a thing or two. And if you didn't, make sure you email me and make sure that I address it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.